Parents know all too well about the child care crisis our state and country finds itself in. Many families struggle to find affordable daycare if they can find any daycare at all.
Now, the problem is sure to get worse as federal funding, known in Wisconsin as child care counts, runs out in the coming months. Leah Linscheid is looking into the problem, the proposed solutions on the table, and what's next for parents dealing with this child care crisis.
Maybe you've heard this statistic before. Putting 2 kids in daycare for a single year costs more than annual tuition at UW-Madison. The average is $25,000, and sometimes it's a lot more. Well, thanks to a loss in federal funding, it could be going up soon and exponentially.
So we weren't really honestly sure for a while.
Deciding to have a child can feel a little like a crash course in calculus.
We did wait for a while in order to be like a little bit more secure in our jobs.
Carly Olson crunched the numbers.
Honestly, worked multiple jobs prior to save up.
While she considered the question, can we even afford kids? Carly compiled a list of 40 daycares to contact. Half the numbers were dead. Another third had wait lists.
Ultimately, what we landed on was there was one of all of those who had a spot when we would need it. And we were just lucky enough that, the price was not so cost prohibitive.
Dust off that old arithmetic table. We asked Carly to calculate the cost.
We have to pay $20 a week to hold the spot until we need care. And then only 25% of that applies to your first week. From there, of course, you pay your weekly fee, which I think it'll be something around, $330, $350, something like that a week.
$350 a week times 52 weeks. How much do you think that is?
Gotta be like $16,000 a year.
$18,000.
Oh, cool. Cool, yeah.
The economic impact of childcare on the state of Wisconsin is $1.9 billion with a B.
From algebra to econ, there's an equation here that impacts more than the tens of thousands of parents in Wisconsin. According to Ruth Schmidt with the Wisconsin Early Childhood Association, it involves the entire economy.
Childcare drives our economy. Without childcare, parents can't work outside the home. And without parents working outside of the home, our economy flounders. We have businesses that can't hire people. We have communities that become unlivable for young families because there's no care available. So it's a spiral. It has a spiraling impact.
It gets worse. Federal pandemic funding that's kept costs from rising these past few years will run out in January. Schmidt says it'll force centers to increase prices. And who picks up the bill? Wisconsin's families.
On the high end, we're probably talking closer to 35 to 40% tuition increases.
The state is searching for solutions. Governor Evers offered more than $300 million, money from the state's surplus, for child care centers. The Republican-led Senate says it will likely make changes to that proposal. They're putting together their own package of bills, offering solutions like a child care savings account for families and a grant program for centers. They're also suggesting an increase in the child-to-teacher ratio from 4-to-1 to 6-to-1, as well as dropping the caretaker age requirement from 18 to 16.
They are not going to address the issue of access and affordability.
Schmidt isn't convinced any of these solutions are the silver bullet. Meanwhile, microeconomics are playing out inside Carly's household.
Does the cost of daycare have any impact on your future decisions on your career or family planning?
Yeah, I think absolutely. How could it not, right?
Like many moms, she's doing the math and wondering what adds up, her career or more kids.
You think about how could you have multiple kids in childcare? It just feels impossible, honestly.
Ruth Schmidt of the Wisconsin Early Childhood Association has one ask from parents. Contact your legislator. She says she hears from lawmakers all the time and say parents aren't telling them that they're strapped.
Schmidt says this is the one way you can help make a change at the government level when it comes to the child care crisis.